childhood. The word alone probably provokes the imagery of a long lost, held dearly in your mind as pure and innocent, of course. Following your graduation from whatever primary school you attended, this whimsical world you once knew is likely shattered into a million of pieces. These days your childhood may seem distant and forgotten, but is it really unattainable? It would be a dream to be able to relive perhaps even a day of childhood. The dead relatives you talk to, the friends you'd see, experiences you could have. Yeah, it's a dream, and unknown to you, it's all possible. The very specific ritual goes back to over 200 years and has arguably existed in other forms for over 500. To put it simply, the ritual involves the use of a vehicle to temporarily transport a version of yourself back into your childhood consciousness. Sound complicated? Let's break the premises down. A vehicle is loose and defined term, and over the many years, people have them used in many ritual ranging from ball pits to jungle gyms to hopscotch courts. All has to be relatively large play structure to which it holds a sentimental value to you. We'll be focusing on performing the ritual with the most effective vehicle today, bouncy castles. But now, no, it can be performed in similar play structures. For obvious reasons, don't even try doing this until you're at least 16 or 17 years old. Before then, you're too small for a child for the ritual to work. A quick forward to the instructions details of this ritual. The ritual can be considered unsafe. Temporal travel always was rather risky phenomenon, and similar risks exist in the ritual, which can be described in detail later. Do this at your own discretion. To begin this, you'll choose your bouncy castle. In theory, one suitable size, meaning large enough, spacious enough to contain some of your other supplies, will work. In practice, however, some other factors are extremely important to your chances of success. For one, sentimental value is huge. The entire ritual is based on using the power of childhood nostalgia. So, for more nostalgia, just pretty much affinity for the bouncy castle. The greater your chances of success, ideally. There would be a bouncy castle that you used all your childhood birthday parties, which you loved. But it's quite rare, so try to go for something you're used to at least one birthday party. Don't mind if it's the exact same. Slight differences in color or model don't matter as long as you feel nostalgic for it. It's functionally the same. It's the same. If by chance you ever had a bouncy castle or never had at any of your birthday parties, think of one you used at another person's party, public event, etc. If you somehow haven't stepped foot into a bouncy castle in your entire life, or you don't like them in general, consider using another vehicle or abort the ritual entirely. The consequences for unwise choice in bouncy castle can be dire. The other factor considered to be practically, and while it's significantly less important than sentimental value, it should be noted. The ritual takes up for a good ideal of space, and you'll want your bouncy castle to have the ideal of a wide, easily accessible area to perform it. This may be important in your emergency situations. For this reason, the obstacle course in Bouncy Castle would be less than perfect as one. It might lack appropriate space requirements, and 2, the event will need a quick getaway. You may have a less ideal time escaping. Choose a day to perform the ritual, and a day of the year will be fine, so as long as it isn't a day of great tragedy or unwell memories. I recommend trying it on your birthday, Christmas, or another day of childhood significance. But these aren't not restricted requirements. Make sure your choices require you a bouncy castle. Inflate it and set it up in your backyard. The backyard should be spacious enough to host a bouncy castle with room to spare. For obvious reasons, the best backyard choices will either be yours, if you have one, your parents', or your childhood home's. If you can't access a backyard to which you'll sure be secure, meaning you'll have legal access to them, or then board the ritual. There are some supplies you'll need to obtain listed down below. Don't be lazy here. Make your choices considerably, and you'll be rewarded. In contrast, making them unwisely will put you at a much greater risk. 1. Pick a crayon. Its color should be visible again against the surface of the bouncy castle. Ideally, it should be your favorite color. Provides more of a ungranted protection. But in most situations, any color would do as long as it's visible. Second, pick a favorite childhood hook. It could be most important factor of the sentimental value. It should be at least 6 pages with a long middle point, meaning both sides of the spine book will be weighed equally, then flip to that point. The hardcover is also preferred. Pick a song from your childhood. It could be any kind of music player. If it's working and loud enough to hear it works, again, the most important factor is the song is sentimental value. It needs to carry emotions and memories, and with it will be from your childhood. The song could be used technically by any length, but choosing one under 2.5 minutes will be severely unwise. I cannot emphasize how important music choice is. You don't want to choose incorrectly here. 4. Pick a choice from your childhood. Again, the more sentimental value, the better. The best option would be your favorite stuffed animal that you slept with every night for years. But not everyone has one. Anytime you enjoy a toy you enjoyed for a good amount of time will serve fine. 5. Pick a candy you loved during your childhood. Part of the sentimental value applies. The candy should be still available today, and you must still like or tolerate its taste. 6. Pick 4 candles of scent you found pleasant during your childhood. Wherever you currently like the smell or it's not relevant, pick up a lighter along with this. With your supplies obtained, your bouncy castle is ready. Time to begin the ritual. Head out to your bouncy castle at any time of day when the sun is out. You'll want to begin before sunset. Just make sure it's not at night and you won't have any other commitments at the time. I recommend trying during the golden hour, as it produces most nostalgic setting for most people. Inflate your bouncy castle. If you haven't done so, once it's properly inflated, set your 4 candles from the outside corners of the bouncy house. You don't place them inside the inflatable. Light them after the 4th candle is lit. Enter the bouncy castle with your supplies and make your way through the designated ritual space. Take your crayon and draw a large circle in the space. It should be large enough to lift your whole body from the laying down with plenty of leg room. Make a special precaution to ensure that this is the case. Make sure the circle is clearly visible against the surface and unbroken. Set your supplies down in front of you. Note you could do the following instructions in any order. Take your childhood book and read it. You don't need to read the whole thing, just enough so you can feel and remember why it's enjoyable. Once you've done so, flip to the next middle pages. If so it was 10 pages long, flip to pages 5 and 6. Take your crayon, place it somewhere around your circle. Take your toy and play with it for a minute like you used to. If it's a stuffed animal, hug it deeply. You'll want to reactivate those memories of fun. Take your piece of candy and eat a piece of it. Don't wash out the flavor out of your mouth with refreshments. Once you've done all the above, arrange all your supplies except for the song and player and then you found in your circle. I advise putting the crayon closest to the entrance of the bouncy castle. But other than that, the arrangement should be fairly incognito. Take your music player and get ready. Keep your song on pause at the beginning of the song. Place the music player of your supplies around your circle. Take a deep breath. It's almost time. Lay in the middle of the circle. The orientation doesn't matter. Relax. Think of the memories that you had brought with you when you were on the carefree days of your childhood. Don't take too long to enter this state of mind or you'll risk overthinking yourself into failure. Whenever you're ready, lay the words, "I do not concede my time." Immediately following the last word, you should feel your senses numb until they are completely gone. You will feel like floating the conscious. No sound, no taste, no smell, no anything. After a minute or so of this, you'll feel your sense begin to return. Keep your eyes closed until you feel all your senses back to normal, then open your eyes. If everything is as it was, the song is still paused, and you still are in your time, then you have failed the entrance ritual. It is really not the end of the world. It's likely resulted from a poor choice of supplies or bouncy castle. In this case, draw an X through the circle of the crayon. Snuff out the candles, deflate the bouncy castle, and return to your home. But if it's everything not as it was, and you awaken to sounds of pretty much laughing children, parents holding conversations, then congratulations. You have successfully transported your consciousness back to that time. Isn't it great? The first thing you should notice is how yourself as a child. Don't worry, your mind is still on the same. It's just the same your conscious that transports back. Remember not to panic. Take a look around you. Your supplies will be there except for the music player. So what the hell is going on? This plane of existence is entirely supported by your supplies up to our reality. This is why your choice of supplies and proper following instructions are so crucial. The wet supplies and vessels of precipitation. Say you're a poor choice in candy. Say how everything tastes bitter or you can't chase it all. Or say you didn't flip the book to midpoint and how your vision is in balance between your eyes. And the candles and the smell and the song you are hearing, the toy, the sense of touch, all of your perceptions are only made possible because of your preparation there. If you properly follow the instructions, your senses should be totally normal. But if they aren't, I proceed with extreme caution. You may need to dose sense in the events of emergency, and proceeding without functioning properly or at all is still advised. Stand up and exit the circle. You have been transported back to a birthday party of yours between ages 4 and 9. Even if you are a twin or triplet, it will only be your birthday. Looking around, you'll see other children playing. Many of them you'll recognize, being your childhood friends from that age. If they were like any you don't recognize, don't worry, they're probably still friends from other stages in your life who have now taken the form of the child. Look into where the adults are. You will see your relatives dead, alive, babysitters, teachers, etc. Any adults that were prompted at this time can be there. If you have seen an adult that you don't recognize, return to the bouncy castle without hesitation. Don't talk to them, don't look at them for too long. Just don't say a word. Just get back in there and perform the return ritual. If everything is well, congratulations. You are now a child again and you can do whatever you please. Play with the children, talk to relatives, anything you want. But you must be aware and vigilant. This place may seem safe, but there is danger around you. Keep your eyes open and you should be fine. So how does exactly this place work? We've already covered your perceptions, but that's not all. The bouncy castle, or whatever vehicle is being used, is really the center of it all. It's your anchor into reality and your true self. Being near the bouncy castle will keep you grounded. But wander far enough, and things might get eerie. If you're bold enough to exit your house or cat backyard and venture out into the wider world, you'll begin to feel strange. Color may be saturated and grainy in your eyes. Proportions may swell or shrink. These disorientations would take a strong effect into a football field radius surrounding your bouncy castle. If you notice these signs, turn back immediately and return to the party. If it gets worse, then you keep going. You may come to the realization that there are no other people in this world besides your partygoers. As you venture out, your perceptions will break down. Movement will crawl into a halt. Your consciousness will be exposed and ripe. See, this reality you aren't in yours. You're merely a guest in it, a visitor. Your bouncy castle can also serve as a disguise for your entrance to this realm. The beings here don't like intrusion. With every farther of the bouncy castle, you open yourself more and to more of them. No fun, right? Be sure to attract too much attention and unwanted ones in yourself. Seeing as it's your birthday, a good amount will be fine, but try not to get hurt, damage the bouncy castle, or anything of the sort. These will only damage your disguise and expose you more. You are covered by any of them. If you're discovered by any of them, you'll feel their cold and get back as fast as the bouncy castle, and then get out of the realm. One last thing, and true to word, your music player will automatically begin to play your chosen song. Hopefully your choice was good. No matter what it was, you're on a time limit. As the second the music stops, your shield begins to be exposed. Each minute the song roughly corresponds to an hour in this realm, so you have at least 2.5 hours here. It's not that simple though. Temporal travel is messy, and time is telling objects that one of the surest things to be affected. Clocks will be out of order, moving fast. You get the point. You'll need to track the time yourself. Keep the track ahead of time if means necessary. The sun's movement should stay consistent, so it's a good place to start. It's also one of the many reasons why during the ritual that night is utterly stupid, as without the sun to track, you are effectively helpless. Should you fail to keep track of time and overstay your welcome, your foreign nature will be completely exposed. The party will stop, they will stare at you, silent and unmoving. Within a few minutes, it'll be over. So you've had your fun with friends and you're ready to return, right? Or perhaps you've talked with some of your late relatives, gained answers to why you have always longed for. However you need it from this experience, I hope you obtain it. It's time for you to return. Don't make a big scene of leaving. According to them, you were always there and never entered in the first place. Attracting their attention to your whereabouts makes you a target. When you are ready, you'll want some preparation. First, if you haven't already, wash all this taste from your mouth. Do this with water, it will be available. Following this, slip back to the bouncy house. No matter if the other kids played in it. All your supplies should still be there, exactly where you left them. If something is missing, you will absolutely need to find it. If you fail to do so, you won't be able to leave. This could have extreme consequences. Only proceed if your supplies are around the circle and the crayon is positioned. Perform the following instructions in any order. Take your childhood book and read it in reverse. Do this for at least a minute or so. When you're done, position it back upside down where it was before. Take your toy and play with it again, but this time do it so aggressively without any care for damaging it. When you've done it, try and damage or break it. Succeeding does not matter. You earnestly have to try and damage it and you'll be good. Place the damaged toy back where it was before. Take your candy and chew without swallowing. No matter how it tasted before, it will now have a slightly bitter, unpleasant taste. Spit it out and place the chewed remains where the candy was before. Leave the crayon where it is. With this complex, lay back down in the circle. Make sure parts of your body are within it. Close your eyes, relax, fill your mind of all the joy that's been grown up, the beauty of obligation, and deep love. What makes it truly better than being a kid forever? Take deep breaths and say the words, "We conquered this matter. I wholeheartedly return." Once again, your senses will fade until your thoughts floating in the vastness. Wait for a minute. Hopefully you'll begin to hear your song. No matter how much time you spent in there, it will always start playing from the last 30 seconds. You'll hear the crescendo and shine. It will sound better than it ever has. Slowly as the song at the end comes to the music fades, your senses will return to you. You have returned, but the danger isn't over yet. You'll notice you're back in your current body. With any warped senses prepared to see this true status, look around your circle. Your supplies should be gone except for the crayon and music player. The latter would have stopped it playing. The song you've chose paused at the end. The former will be lying as it is. Take the crayon, draw next for your circle. Go outside and snuff out the candles. Deflate the bouncy castle. With these steps done, you can finally breathe again to the sigh of true relief. It's over. You have successfully returned to reality and the experience gained from the ritual. Most people feel an end to their desire to return to their childhood and fully embrace adult life. In any case, I wouldn't try this ritual again. Your soul is now marked to the beings, and they will likely know when or if you return to that realm. Or perhaps you were stupid and didn't bother fishing out what you started. If you failed to cross your circle out or perform any kind of final step at this time, then congratulate yourself, as you've just opened a temporal portal for them to come after you. If I were you, I'd just off myself at that point. Otherwise, enjoy the results and the rest of your years.